Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel, Gate Life and More. So, today this is the first podcast on my channel, and today we have a very special guest on our channel, Lakshmi Sai Krishna. So, he has secured an All India rank of 10 in Gate EC 2024, and he is currently my batchmate at IIT Madras in MTech ICS. So, I'll pass on the mic to him and tell him to give you an introduction about himself.
Yeah, thank you, Sangrag, for the introduction. So it's been a long wait for me to feature on your channel because being in the same domain and seeing your channel grow. So I was always expecting to do a video with you, and finally it happened in our final semester. So, anyways, I'm glad. Let me introduce myself to the viewers. So I am Lakshmi Sai Krishna. I am from Tenali, Andhra Pradesh. I finished my schooling in my hometown itself. And then I moved to Vijayawada for my intermediate at Fiji school. And then I went to JNU Kakinada for my BTech. And then I finished my 3 years of BTech there. And as an exchange student, I went to BTH Sweden for my final year. And then I came back to India and took a year gap and prepared for GATE. And then I attempted GATE in 2024, as Sangrah had already said. And then I joined IIT Madras in ICS domain. So now I'm in my final semester. So that's all about me.
Okay, so that was a pretty short and nice intro for him. So he's too humble actually. So now we'll move on to the questions. So my first question to you. So did you ever feel you won't crack GATE?
So you see, this constant feeling of failure is common for any competitive exam, not only GATE. So I used to get this doubt regularly. And even in the mock test, it used to reflect, like in some of the mock tests, when I get lesser marks, like let me say close to 30 or 40, I used to feel that am I doing well. But when you see some mock tests going very well, so you get motivated from that and you keep moving. So failure is the feeling of failure is always there, but you have to believe in the process and be in the right mindset. Yeah.
Okay, so now a fun part question for you. So what was your lowest mock score?
Lowest mark score, see, it's easy to say highest one. We usually remember the highest one, not the lowest one. So lowest, it's definitely 30 or 31, as far as I remember. But I also want to add the highest also. Highest is like, while I was writing the GATE mock test, so it was like I was writing so many mock tests almost daily. So just before when I reached this GATE examination, when I was writing the mock test, I was getting around 90 also sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, both are unbelievable. I guess from 30 to 90, that's a huge improvement. So we'll come to that, how you got such marks from 30 to 90. So my next question for you, if someone studies 6 months, is it possible to get a rank of under 50 in GATE?
Myself, I am an example. So I only prepared for 6 months. So it's definitely possible. The question finally boils down to whether you have enough fundamentals. So if you have the right fundamentals to do so, I think 6 months is fairly enough. But the thing is, if you don't have enough fundamentals, especially during your BTech, while you are going through your core subjects, if you don't have enough fundamentals, you need as much time to pick up on the fundamentals during your preparation as well. So with right fundamentals, 6 months is sufficient. But please assess yourself, like whether you have the right enough basics from your BTech, or not only from your lecturers, not only from your subjects, how much you gain by yourself also. So if you are well equipped prior, it's definitely fairly sufficient.
Okay, so one more question about this. What's the biggest myth according to you about GATE preparation that's still on YouTube and people are spreading it?
So there are so many myths like related to GATE. But the most concerning myth, not only with respect to GATE, with any competitive exam, is that you have to study for so long a day, like 14 hours or 16 hours or something like that. But that is a very big myth, because always the amount of time is not the matter, it's the intensity that matters. So sitting for 12 hours or 14 hours in front of screen or books, studying without intensity is not ideal. So it's the ideal thing to do is, even if you sit for 8 hours or 6 hours, if you are doing it with right intensity, with high intensity, that should be more effective than these long hours. That is one myth. I would add some other myths also, like people think that GATE is a test of your core domain knowledge, but it is not. It is a test of your aptitude. The name itself says that it is a test of aptitude, so graduate aptitude test. So that is one myth. There are so many other myths. Maybe I'll discuss in the following questions as well.
Okay, so my next question for you: were you naturally strong in analog domain, or did you build it from scratch? So, guys, just a thing here that he prepared for analog domain here, and he is doing quite well. So, we will move to it in the later part of the video. So, the question is: were you naturally strong in analog, or did you build it from scratch?
Uh, Initially, I was not that good with analog. I was doing well with digital. Even till today, even in recent gate also, I was doing well with digital part rather than analog. But somewhere during the process of doing some courses in IIT at IITM, I realized that analog is where I can put my efforts. I can shine. So that's where my interest turned towards analog, and I picked up on various things from the professors, from textbooks, from some other resources as well. So now I'm a little comfortable. Not even till today, even till day, I'm still afraid of analog. So, but still, I love doing analog. But yeah, initially I was not that good at analog.
So, was it like love at first sight?
Yeah, it's the opposite. Love it the later side. Like maybe I can say that. Yeah.
Okay, a nice one. Yeah, so it was a pretty interesting discussion till now. So, on the next section, we will move to some questions for our GATE aspirants who are in our audience. So, we will ask the topper himself about how he prepared and how his tips can help the GATE aspirants. So, the next question for you: how did you divide the subjects across months for your GATE preparation? Until which month do you think serious aspirants should finish their syllabus and start giving full length tests?
Yeah, so let me begin with my case. So I finished my syllabus somewhere at the end of November, and then I have 2 months effectively till gate from then. So in December, I was completely revising all the things and finishing off any pending things like short notes or PYQs, etc. And then once I'm done everything regarding that, I in January I was giving only mock tests. So mock test frequency was like one per day, and then I have given around 30 mock tests in January itself, so one per day, and I use it to analyze mistakes and all these things as well. So this is my plan till gate.
Okay, so 30 mock tests, that's a lot, man. So the next question is, did you follow any standard books, YouTube material, or coaching content for your preparation? And in 2026, if you are preparing for GATE again, do you think that YouTube content is sufficient for GATE preparation, or you need some additional coaching?
Yeah, so for the first part of the question, so I want to mention that I have been part of offline coaching. So coaching material was a very big help. They have this PYQs, and test series was also by the coaching institute. Of course, I have tried other coaching material as well, other coaching material or other coaching test series as well. But yeah, most of my preparation was centered on the coaching material and the coaching test series and the coaching notes also. So that's the resources. I did not follow any YouTube resources, but I know how YouTube resources work, and I know where these resources are there. And also regarding the textbooks, I did not follow during the preparation. But the thing is, while developing my fundamentals during my BTech, I read a lot of academic textbooks. So in that way, I know many standard textbooks, many Indian author textbooks as well. So that can also be helpful for GATE. So it's all like there are so many things to think of while coming to the resource itself. And the second part regarding particularly aimed at YouTube resources, I would say the issue is not with the quality; it's with the quantity. So you can find a sea of information or sea of resources in the YouTube itself, and you don't know which to pick up. So the issue is this, that you have to pick the right resource from the YouTube and stick to it. Otherwise, with respect to quality or with respect to the availability, it's not an issue. So it's all about the right choice.
Yeah, so moving on to the next question: how many hours per day did you prepare during your GATE exam prep, and how much do you suggest to our aspirants to study per day?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the myth question also, so it's not about spending so long. In my case, I would spend ideally around 8 hours on an average per day. It usually is like 10 or 12 hours also sometimes. But I usually advise you that always count your effective hours, not the number of hours. So it's like even if you're sitting for 12 hours, the effective hours might be only 8 or 10. So always count your effective hours. Effectively, 8 hours is ideally sufficient. For me, it was sufficient. Yeah.
Okay. So the analysis of mistakes, according to me, is a crucial part during your GATE preparation, not only writing the test series blindly. So what method did you particularly follow to analyze your mistakes while you were writing the full length tests?
Exactly, that's a crucial part. Taking as many mock tests is not important. It's all about analyzing things. So when I write a mock test in the morning, let me say, the whole afternoon I would spend on correcting the mistakes or understanding where I'm doing the mistake, and then going back to the notes, going back to the particular concept required, and then again revising it once more. So in that way, I use it to rectify the mistakes on the day itself. And also, not only just looking through the concepts, you also have to document your mistakes. So documentation is a key part of my whole gate journey. So you should have a separate notes or separate notes to make all your what do you call mistakes, note down all your mistakes and see, and also write why you have done that mistake also there. So documentation is important, and also going back to the concepts required is also important. That's the way I usually manage it.
Okay, so the next question is, if you had to start again today for GATE 2027, then what would you change from your preparation earlier, and what would you suggest for someone who is taking a drop for GATE 2027?
Yeah, that's a fair question actually. Yeah, in my case, I the only regret I have is that I started it a little bit late, so that I squeezed everything, and I got a little pressurized physically and mentally as well. Of course, gate preparation demands that, but if I had started early, I would have been more relaxed in the preparation. So the only thing I would change is that start early, uh, start so that have enough ample time for revision and mock tests also. So that at least, so ideally, I would say you should finish your syllabus maybe by October, and then so that you'll have 3 months of sufficient time for revision. So 1.5 month or 2 months you can spend for revision, and 1 month completely you can spend for mock tests, because not every student can write mock tests with the same frequency I have done. So some people might be comfortable with taking one test and alternate day on alternate day, so the day after. So that's the way. So in that case, you need more time for revision and your test series as well. So yeah, that's the only thing I won't change. Everything else went fine for me.
Okay, so that was a nice advice. So the next question, which is one of the most important questions for this podcast. So stay tuned, guys. It's coming. So why did you choose IIT Madras specifically over IISc and other IITs? Because you had a pretty nice GATE score. You could have gotten into IIT Bombay or some other top 5 IITs. So any specific reason to that?
For me, it's fairly simple to answer rather than you or Tushar. So yeah, from the very beginning of my GATE preparation, I was mostly fixated towards IIT Madras. There are various reasons for that. One is that I am from South India, so IIT Madras is fairly a South Indian college in its flavor and everything. So that is the major reason. I would be comfortable with the environment, with the temperature, everything else. And the second reason is the electrical department here and the circuits domain here. It's very famous, quite famous. So, and also the third reason, which is the most important one, is that it allows for internships for summer. So that is one more important thing. So these three factors are the major reasons that I have chosen IIT Madras. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I hope you guys are listening attentively, because IIT Madras allows for internship. That is a very important point for someone who is looking for placements, and it is also the reason why I chose IIT Madras. One of the reasons. So the next question is, why did you specifically choose integrated circuits branch and not VLSI? Because VLSI allows EC score and it does not allow EE score, but still after writing EC gate also you chose ICS over VLSI. So what is the reason? And this question has been asked in the comment section also previously in one of my videos. People were asking that which branch has good placements, or people want to know actually. So yeah, why did you choose ICS over VLSI?
Yeah, fair question. So, first thing, I'm not that into device physics and device domain. ICS is like design, I would say, and MLSI is like design device. So it's not that I did not do well in these courses or in that domain. I like them. I fairly like them, but I'm not that deeply attracted towards device physics or complicated mathematical equations and all that stuff. So design domain gives me a lot of interest, because if you give me a device and its characteristics, I can build something out of it. That I like, rather than taking a device and completely characterize it. I would rather than take a device from a device engineer and build something out of it. So I like building things. So that's where my interest started towards ICS. And also ICS domain has very good professors at IITM. Very famous professors. You might all know about Professor Shanti Pawan, Professor Nagendra Krishnapura, Professor Aniruddhan, Professor Saurabh sir. So there are so many guys, so many famous professors here in ICS domain especially. So that is one thing. And yeah, the placements and internships, it's fairly same for both VLSI and ICS. and also it gives me more time to explore other domains in ICS. Like I can explore RF design, I can explore PLLs, I can explore data converters, etc. Whereas in VLSI, you may be a little constrained to do more courses on device side as well. So these are the major contributing factors.
Okay, so your main motivation to join ICS was this is a more kind of circuits and system level branch than VLSI, and VLSI is more focused into device physics. Okay, so sorry VLSI guys, you missed a champ. He's in our team. So okay, the next question, why MTech and not MS? Because I have seen many people on YouTube suggest that MS is a more research oriented course and you have like 3 years with the professors, you are working on a project more deeply than MTech, and MTech is more coursework based. So why choose MTech over MS? This people want to know, I think, from you.
Yeah. So initially, I wasn't able to appreciate before coming to IIT Madras. I wasn't able to appreciate MS that much because I was mostly inclined towards placement, getting placements, getting internships, etc. So if your target is to go to placement or go to an industry, I think MTech is faster approach. Whereas MS people also are fairly into industry and they are also getting equal opportunities like MTech, but the time is a factor. So 3 years for MS and 2 years for MTech, but the pressure is more when considered regarding the academic work. You have to do more courses in a lesser span of time while doing MTech here. So initially I was mostly interested in MTech. I was not able to appreciate MS as much, but after coming to IIT Madras, I saw people doing MS and myself doing some research here in the labs. I now fairly can appreciate the MS curriculum and MS role. You will have for MS people, you will have ample time to get things taped out or get things into your hand, rather than being an MTech guy only spending 1 year for research and not able to bring out a complete product out. But for MS guys, they have a very great opportunity to bring something meaningful out during their time here. So in otherwise, the time is only the factor. Placements wise, I don't see any difference. But MTech guys, they go to the placements quickly. That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so for someone who is solely focused on placements, which one would you suggest, MTech or MS?
Yeah, definitely MTech, because one thing is internship. You can definitely do internship during summer, and then after 2 years, immediately you can go for a placement. So for MTech is better when you consider industry as your future domain, as your future. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on to the next segment of the video, it is regarding your life at IIT Madras, and I think people are very much interested to know what goes on inside the NIRF1 institute of the country. So the next question is reality versus expectation of your IIT Madras MTech life. What you expected and what you saw here regarding academics, the courses, infrastructure, and how did they help you?
Yeah, so regarding academics, I was previously coming from a government college from my state. I was fairly having a stress-free life, learning things on my own and enjoying my life enough. But suddenly, when I came here, the academics was so stressful initially. It was so difficult to keep up with the assignments, with the exams. The thing is that here, the professors test your problem-solving skills rather than your descriptive skills. So you have to be so good with your problem-solving and so accurate at the same time. So that's one thing I felt so difficult to pick up initially. But as with the course of things, I was used to it, and now I feel comfortable with the academics now. And coming to the labs and the other infrastructure, it was same as I was expecting. Initially, I was expecting a lot of, very good lab equipment, at least with respect to circuits domain and VLSI domain. And I see a lot of labs in electrical domain, not only in electrical engineering, in other departments also. I have seen so many labs which are high-ended, and that's due to the fact that a lot of funds are put into IITs and NITs as well. So the infrastructure is too good here. The labs are really good. The chance to do meaningful research are very high compared to where I came from. Yeah, this is what I expect. This reality was expectations.
Okay. So do you think IIT Tag gives people an edge in the industry when they are starting over other colleges?
I would say the IIT tag would open you many doors, but it's only at the entry level. Once you enter, it's all about your skills. It doesn't matter which tag you are bearing on your shirt. So I myself have been rejected in so many interviews before coming to before getting my final successful interview at Mediatek. So it's like no one is exceptional like from the failure. It opens you the door, but from there it's all about your skills. So yeah, skills are the ultimate winner.
Okay, so IIT Tag will give you opportunities, but you have to work on yourself to fetch those. Okay. So the next question is, how competitive do you think is MTech ICS in IIT Madras internally?
Extremely competitive, I would say, because the cutoffs for ICS, I think most of you might have known, it's getting even difficult these days, these years. So it's like almost all the top 100 students mostly opt for IITM ICS or IITM VLSI. So it's like you're competing with the cream of the nation here, and you blink, you are behind. So you have to keep up each and every day. You can't just skip a day. So you have to be on your best at each and every day. You have to compete with people like Sangrag, like Tushar, like so many guys who are really competitive, who have seen this stuff from so many days, from their previous experience as well. But to add the point here, it's not all about competition. It's also about collaboration. You're collaborating with such minds here. It's like the one of the greatest experience. That's one thing I'm going to miss after leaving IITM. Collaborating with the cream of the people who are really good at doing this stuff. So it's not wherever there is extreme competition, you are going to have very good collaborations also. You have to enjoy that also. Yeah.
Okay, so with Sai Krishna in ICS, certainly we feel the competition. So yeah, to the next question. So were you always clear about going into core electronics, or you changed your mind after your BTech and you were preparing to go into software and changed it? So any reason why you chose core electronics after your BTech?
Yeah, I have changed my mind a lot of times before fixating myself on electronics and circuits. So initially, during my BTech, I was mostly onto the electronic stuff also, but I was also exploring the software domain, and mostly I think while we are doing our BTech, the AI boom is starting. Yeah. So everyone are like booming about AI and ML. So I was starting learning things about AI and ML, and I found out that it's fairly mathematics at the bottom level. So I started doing work on that as well. I have also done many computer science courses as part of a minor degree also. So I have been fairly exploring everything that I can. And while I'm in my final year, I was also open to do jobs in not in pure coding. Like I was mostly inclined towards AI and ML. So it's like I was almost giving interviews for ML job roles also while I was in Sweden. But after coming back to India, I felt that here I think the ecosystem for circuits and systems is really good when compared to where I was in Sweden. So I thought I already have the basics required for that. So why not give complete focus onto the electronics rather than going for something which I'm not completely sure about. So that at that point, coming back to India, I fixed that. Yeah, now this is what I am going to do, and I am here. Yeah.
Okay, a nice take on that. So we'll move to the next segment of the video. Yeah, so the next question for you, this is a question which many aspirants want to know before joining IITs for MTech. So why did you specifically choose analog profile over digital profile, and you built your profile in analog, although you know that the number of companies visiting the campus for digital profile is more compared to analog. So why did you make such a choice?
Yeah, initially I was having the same dilemma, like whether to choose analog or digital domain. After finishing my first semester here, I have done well with both my analog course and digital courses as well. So I don't know what to choose. So I stepped back and thought about it for a while and decided on analog because of a few things. Like one thing is the professors here in analog domain are really good. I think most of you might know. So it's like why to lose an opportunity to work under such professors who are really good with their domains. And analog is also something which interested me personally during my first semester. And also one thing I think it might be surprising that digital domain requires more coding than what analog requires. So I was mostly made up my mind that I should not do any more coding. So that's one reason, but it's not like some people might. I personally like coding. Even now, I'm doing coding even with analog project that I am doing. I'm still doing some coding with that as well. We are automating some stuff and all, but still that I don't want to completely go into coding. So that's one reason. And people have a misconception that digital domain is easier than analog or something like that. That is true to some sense, but I think digital domain is difficult in a sense that you have to put your foot in so many places. Like you have to be good with so many things. But in analog, you have to be fairly good with a few things only, but you have to be extremely good with that. So in that way I like analog much. Yeah. And placements wise, I think as Sangrag told, digital place, I mean companies who are offering digital roles are very high compared to analog, but at the same time competition is also huge for digital roles, so I think that compensates for that fact.
Yeah, so basically he could have increased the competition in digital domain, but he chose analog to increase the competition. Yeah, so coming back to the analog design questions. So how should students start preparing for an analog IC design role, and what are the must do courses that you would suggest for our viewers?
Yeah, so from my experience, I think it's all about first you should be really good with your fundamentals with whatever domain you would like to choose. So I think first you have to explore which domain will fit for you. After choosing analog, let me say, I think you can start with reading some textbooks. You can start doing some YouTube. You can start seeing some YouTube lectures as well. I think as per me, I think you can start with some books like Sedra Smith. I like Sedra Smith very much because it gives you a very grounded approach towards circuits. And then you can move to Rajavi as well. So Rajavi microelectronics is good for basics. You can also go to advanced textbooks like analog IC design, say by Rajavi. And after that, along with this, you have to also see some YouTube lectures like the best the best beginning the best thing to start is like watching analog circuits by Professor Shanti Pavan. I think that's the best basic analog course that you can find on YouTube. Also there are lectures by Rajavi on YouTube as well, you can also try that. So all these things, after doing all these things, you will understand whether analog will suit you or not at least. And then you can go to advanced textbooks and advanced courses as well. Like there are advanced courses like analog IC design by Professor Nagendra sir is there. Also there is some course for actually also you should be good with networks also, not only analog stuff. To do analog stuff you should be good with networks also, so you should try books for networks also, like Haidt and Kammerly is there, or you can try some Indian or other textbooks for networks, or you can see basic networks by Professor Nagendra sir on YouTube also. So yeah, you can do all this stuff and see where you can go.
Okay, and do you also think that control system is an important part for analog design guys, and they also need to learn about Bode plot and those things?
Yeah, so, some parts of control are definitely required. Like you said, Bode plots are the ones that we are using daily in our labs also. So Bode plots, basically all the things related to stability is what analog designers will be using regularly. Like Bode plots, Nyquist plots. Nyquist stability criteria is the most common used in textbooks as well. So yeah, control systems is definitely needed for analog designers.
Okay, so what are the main challenges that you faced during your MTech at IIT Madras?
Uh, with respect to academics, coping up with grades. I mean, after second semester itself, I understood that grades are not in our hands. It depends on various other factors. So getting demoralized by the academic stress and grades is very easy. At the same time, you have to keep moving regularly so that you will reach a point where you're confident about your skills at least. So that is one thing where I struggled a lot. Now I am fairly comfortable with the stress and all this stuff, and getting adjusted to hostel life. Of course, I have been hostel in my previous classes as well, but getting to a new hostel and dealing with the animals here and all this stuff, it sometimes gets to your. I mean, it sometimes affects your academic life as well. So you have to balance out both. You have to balance out your personal life and academic life, and yeah, there is very less room to have some fun, but still IIT Madras provides you ample opportunity to do that as well. So yeah, these are the challenges mostly, and also having the pressure of placement is a common thing for every MTech student and MS guy as well. Thankfully, I have got an internship and I have got a PPO offer as well, so that in that aspect I was saved. But yeah, I think you guys know more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so what are the must know tools for any analog designer to build an analog profile?
Yeah, there are so many tools which are being developed from so long, like 1950s and 60s, 1970s and 80s. There are so many tools that are being developed. The major tools I would suggest is some spice software. Like get your hands on some spice, whatever spice you like. LT spice is the most famous one. You can try NG spice. You can try P spice as well, because these are open and free. That's why I suggest these things. But if there is access to you from your college to Cadence, I think Cadence is the best one you can try out.
Okay, so as you guys heard that he secured an internship during his time at IIT Madras at Mediatek, and finally he secured a PPO there. So we'll move on to some questions regarding his internship experience, interview experiences, and how he secured his PPO. So on to the next question. So how tough was the internship interview, and what topics to focus on for someone who is preparing for an analog domain internship interview?
Yes, for me, the interview experience was not that difficult, but it was touching the fundamentals. So it was for an RF role at Mediatek. So the questions were mostly targeted towards my RF course because it was ongoing at that time. So we are only done with one project by that time. So the questions were mostly targeted towards that project. So they were most interested in knowing whether I know what I'm doing. It's not like I just put some values and got the results done. It's not like that. So they want me to test, like they want me to answer why I did a few things and why I did not do a few things, and how did I come up with such a circuit at the end. So it's all about getting your basics right and knowing what you're doing. That's what most what do you call internship interviews do, because by the time you're giving your internship interviews, you won't be doing all your courses, you won't be done with all your courses, or you won't be equipped with all the knowledge required. So they will be mostly testing your basics and how serious are you. And coming to the resources or like that, always brush up your basics for internship interviews, and for placement interviews also it's the same most of the times. So always be good with your fundamentals, because if you are to explain a new thing, you need your fundamentals at the right place. So fundamental, if you are good with your fundamentals and you know what you are doing, what stuff you are doing and how you are doing that, it's sufficient for interviews.
Okay, so and how important is MTech CGPA and BTech CGPA according to you in both interview, like internship interview and placement interviews?
Yeah, that's a common question. I think MTech CGPA is more important than BTech CGPA, because once you come here, the top thing that that interviewers are going to see is your MTech GPA. So that will overshadow your BTech GPA usually. Maybe if some internship comes at the very beginning of your MTech, by the time you won't have any MTech grade. Maybe at that time BTech grade may be useful, but in general for any internship or placement, I think MTech grade is what matters.
Okay, and how was your internship experience at Mediatek, and what were you working on there?
Yeah, I hope I could tell everything, but yeah, I can't say. But I was working on a receiver chip. It's a GPS receiver, and I was testing it. So I can't give you more details about that. So yeah, the experience was fairly. It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Internship experience is not about learning a lot. It's all about getting yourself adjusted to the industrial environment, and getting used to the corporate culture and all that things. So in that aspect, I enjoyed a lot, and I got to know how things work in industry. So now I know what to expect when I go back to Mediatek as well.
Okay, so it's highly classified information, guys, that you are getting on this channel. So stay tuned. So moving on to the last question for the podcast. So Sai, if you didn't get a PPO, what would be your backup plan?
Yeah, I have a few backups. The first thing is like if I did not get a PPO, I will be sitting for placement session along with you guys. So I would have give my best there as well. If it also got missed, I was still writing GATE this year also. So I will have something to apply for, and PSUs are always a good option as well. So yeah, if always we should be having some backups. That's a good thing. You should have plan A, B, C to as many as possible. So yeah, these are my basic plans.
Okay, so he'll be increasing the competition everywhere, guys. Beware.
Hopefully, this will be my last time giving GATE. Yeah, many people are requesting me not to give anymore.
Okay, then you can say thank you to him, guys. Okay, so that will be all for this podcast, and I'll continue to bring in videos regarding GATE, IES, and other technical exams, and also VLSI company interviews. So stay tuned to the channel, and I am very near to reaching 2,000 subscribers. So if you guys like the content, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. And any last message that you would like to give after the podcast side?
Yeah, it's for you only. So thank you for having me in your first podcast, and also for me, it's my first outdoor interview as well. Yeah, I never know that outdoor interviews will be such fun. I also like to thank Tushar Karmakar here, one of our classmate and colleague. So thanks for his photographic skills here. And yeah, and also I would like to tell to the viewers that if you are interested, if you're interested in GATE or in general life, so I think you should subscribe to Sangrak's channel. It's really good. I have seen his channel from the beginning of from the first time I have met him. I have been seeing his channel. He has a lot great content regarding it. You have to definitely check it out. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Sai. It was a privilege to have you in my first podcast. So goodbye, guys. See you in the next video.